So we're going to take this as a mission. Then I think you should not send your scores in this case. The ideal time to appear for SAT is your open Google and search in your SAT preparation journey. It is really important. I think this is not the right approach. The correct approach would be Namaste people, my name is Samrit Kavita Gupta and I'm from India. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. From the title and the thumbnail, you already know what this video is about. So if you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon so that you can be notified at the earliest whenever I upload a new video. So this video is going to be a comprehensive overview. What is the ideal time to prepare for SAT? Who should prepare for SAT? What to keep in mind while preparing for SAT? What are the resources one should use? Study tips, motivation tips, basically everything that I know on how to achieve your goal score in SAT. But for section-specific tips, strategies, and advices, I will upload separate videos. So we're going to take this as a mission, and before we begin any mission, we first need to know what this mission is all about. So let's first know what SAT is. SAT stands for Scholastic Aptitude Tests. It is a standardized test, and as the name suggests, it tests high school students their aptitude for college admissions abroad, especially in the US. Now, when you're learning about SAT, one thing that you need to be aware of is that SAT is not a test of your intelligence. It's a test of your endurance, aptitude, as well as your test-taking ability. Should you give SAT? I want you to see it like this. Let's say there's a cooking competition and the contestants are required to replicate a dish. Okay, there are two contestants. One has replicated all the elements perfectly, but he has done nothing else. The other contestant has replicated all the elements and he decided to prepare a sauce. Now, if the sauce really goes well with the dish and it enhances the overall presentation and the taste of the dish, then it is going to work as an advantage for the person. But if that sauce doesn't go well with the elements of the plate, then that is going to act as a disadvantage. So if the other parts of your application are above average, but your SAT score is pulling that down, then I think you should not send your scores in this case. But if your SAT score is good and it goes well with your application, then you should definitely send your SAT scores. And in case if the colleges that you're targeting are not test optional and they require you to give SAT, then there's no other option. What is the ideal time to appear for SAT? I would say the ideal time to appear for SAT is your junior year. Now, why I say that is because, once you're done with your 10th grade, you already have a grasp of all the concepts that are going to be there in your SAT syllabus, and senior year is really going to be a struggle for you guys because, there's already a lot in your plate and you do not want to trouble yourself. It would be better if you focus on the other parts of your college application in the senior year. Now, if you're a 9th or a 10th grader, you must be thinking how you can start preparing for your SAT. The best tips that I have for you guys are put 100% into your classes because your SAT English section isn't an ordinary English section. Having good knowledge of different subjects like history, geography, politics, chemistry, biology, that's always going to benefit you. So have a good grasp of all the subjects. So let's say you get a science related passage which has terms like osmosis, diffusion, hypertonic solution, hypertonic solution. And if you're well aware of these terms, or if not well aware, you have some basic idea of these terms in the back of your mind, you are immediately going to feel at ease. My second advice would be to read as much as you can, and you can't even imagine how helpful this tip can be. Most of us, prefer to read fiction whenever we are told to read anything. My suggestion would be to make a habit of reading academic essays, scientific essays, history texts, literature. The more swiftly you can read and comprehend different sorts of texts, the easier it would be for you to tackle your SAT English section. My third advice would be to enrich your vocabulary. Enriching your vocabulary isn't a matter of months. So that is the reason why I'm saying you should develop this habit from now on only. Now, I have some cool strategies and tips regarding the ways in which you can enrich your vocabulary, but that I'll share in my next video, which will be specifically made for reading and writing section. Now, let's start by knowing what you should do before you start studying for SAT. So let's title this as planning. Number one, know your goal score. It is really important to know the score you are targeting for your SAT because it is something that is going to keep you motivated for your entire duration of preparation, and it is also going to decide how much work you need to put in your SAT preparation. How to decide your goal score? Now, it really depends on the kind of universities that you are targeting. I would say you should build your college list first. If you want me to make a video on how to prepare your college list, then drop a comment and I'll upload a video on that topic as well. Considering you have your college list prepared, open Google and search average SAT score for XYZ university. Start noting the average SAT score of each university next to the university name in your college list. And there you go, the highest score in your list is your goal score. It is the score that you have to target for your SAT. Now that you know your SAT goal score, do not wait for long. Book a testing date and a testing facility in your nearby city. To book your testing date and testing facility, you need to go on to collegeboard.com and create your own account and register for SAT. College Board is a non-profit organization that conducts this exam. Now you need to keep three things in your mind. First, commit to the date that you have decided. Do not stretch for long. Second, take at least 2 to 3 months to prepare for your first SAT attempt. And third, try to hit your goal score before your senior year starts, because you do not want to complicate yourself in your senior year. Now let's start with how you should prepare for your SAT. So the first thing that you need to do is give a mock test before you've prepared anything, because it will help you diagnose your current level of performance, and it will also help you know how much more efforts and work you need to put in to get to your desired score. In your SAT preparation journey, it is really important to stay motivated and to be organized. For that, you should have a study plan and a study schedule, because that really helps you to make sure that your graph consistently moves upwards daily. Now let's say you decide to give 2 hours of preparation every day to your SAT. So give the most productive hours of your day to your SAT preparation, because you really need to be active. There are some people who think that they should first prepare for one section, and when they think they're completely prepared for the first section, they will move on to the next section. But I think this is not the right approach. The correct approach would be to prepare for both the subjects hand in hand, because in that way you are not losing your connection with any one subject for a long time, right? You need to stay in touch with both the subjects consistently. Whatever hours you have decided to give to your SAT preparation, divide it in both the subjects. Let's say you want to give 1 hour to your SAT English section and 1 hour to your math section. What you can also do is that if you are better in your English section than your math section, then you might want to give 1.5 hours to your math section and half an hour to your English section. And you can do the other way around as well. You might want to give 1.5 hour of preparation to your English section every day and half an hour for your math section. But in this way, you are staying in touch with both the subjects, which is better than losing connection with any one subject for a long time. So on your weekdays, you should learn new topics and new concepts. So let's say on your first day, you decide to learn command and evidence textual. So I would say buy a register, or if you like, making notes on your iPad, you can do that ways as well. Note the heading of the topic that you are covering, and then below that, start making mini notes. Now, why I'm saying mini notes? The reason is that a lot of people do not understand that the main goal of making notes is that you should be able to save time. Okay, your notes do not have to be super beautiful or eye-catching. They just need to be made in a way that when you have a glance of those notes, you don't require much time. You can immediately understand what the notes talk about. So on your first day, you learnt about the concept of command and evidence textual. The second day, you should quickly go through the notes that you prepared and start doing the questions. Once you're done with the questions, you will have a clear idea of the subtopics that you are weak in. So just make a note of all the subtopics that you feel you are weak in and you need to put extra efforts in. Now you have an idea of the subtopics that you are weak in. So what you can do is that go on to YouTube and search for the specific topics that you feel you are weak in. You'll find a plethora of videos. Watch those videos and try to soak in the concepts, and then begin doing the questions. This way you will be able to improve your performance. So on your weekdays, you have to repeat this process, and in this way you will be able to cover your topics gradually. On Saturdays, you have to do full practice tests. If you want to do practice test of only one section, you can go that ways as well. Then what you should do on Sundays? On Sundays, you should schedule 3 to 4 hour long session where you will analyze your test performance. You should make a list of the questions that you missed, the questions that you got incorrect, the questions that you got correct but you weren't really sure about. In this way, you will have a picture of the concepts that you are still lacking behind. Most of the time, we do not focus on the answers we got correct, and we only focus on the questions that we got incorrect. But the thing is, we should bother about the correct answers as well, because a lot of times we guess the answers of the questions while testing, and luckily we get it correct. But while checking the test report, we do not put an effort to understand why we got it correct and what is the correct logic behind it. So my advice is that we should always read the explanations of each and every question. Correct, incorrect, missed, doesn't matter, because in that way you're training your mind to think in the way SAT writers want you to think in. Now let's talk about what resources one should use. So before talking about that, I should tell you what resources I use. So the resources that I used were Khan Academy and YouTube. That's it. And I followed them religiously. And that's what I want you to understand. Whatever resources you are, deciding to use, you should stick to them. Do not confuse yourself a lot that you're buying, these 12 books or these 15 books and you are just confused what to follow, what advices to take and what advices to leave. If you're someone who really enjoys to learn from textbooks, you have a lot of resources. You can use College Board's official guide, you can use the Princeton Review, Black Book, Barron's. You have a lot of options. But if you are someone who doesn't like but learn from textbooks or who doesn't want to indulge in textbooks, you're still fine. You have a lot of other resources. I did not buy any textbooks because I had very little time to prepare. And Khan Academy, believe me, it's a wonderful resource. It's a wonderful platform and it's completely free. Rather than that, if you really want to invest your money somewhere, then you should invest in buying practice questions or practice tests, because you have very less official practice tests for digital SAT. In order to score high on SAT, it is very important to work on both speed and accuracy. So how to build up speed and accuracy? Practice is the key. It may sound as cliche, but believe me, it's a fact. For this, you should give practice tests under the same testing conditions that you will face on your testing date. Take the same duration of break, use the same stationery, use the same calculator, use the same laptop, because in that way you are preparing yourself and your body and your mind for the testing day. Have a quiet environment and make sure there's no distraction, and be very strict on yourself with timing. When the timer goes off, put your pencil down. Section specific tips. Math section. For your math section, time is often enough for the students to complete all the questions. Be wary of one thing. In SAT math section, they will first give you very easy questions which will pump you up. So it's really important to control your enthusiasm, to control your confidence in the starting. Because as you proceed, you will find certain questions that will be time consuming, and the SAT writers can really trick with your mind. So you should develop your mindset according to that. In your math section, you have a lot in your hands. So you should try your level best to score as high as you can. Unlike English section, in math section, you have the same old repeated questions with a little change in your language, little change in the style of framing the question, little change in numbers. Okay, but the questions remain the same. So if you practice well, if you have a crystal clear understanding of all the concepts, and if you can really focus and not do silly mistakes, then getting a perfect score is achievable. For your math section, revise all the topics and do not take any topic for granted. And in your SAT math section, you are rarely going to find any extraordinary question. So what you have to do is just practice a lot, and you just don't need to have Olympiad level math skills. And one thing that I implemented in my math section, which you can also implement, is that do easier questions first and leave your time consuming questions for the last, so that you can analyze how much time you are left with and can solve the questions accordingly. Section specific tips. English section. In the English section, I would stop from targeting the perfect 800, rather focus on maximizing your score. Now, why I say that is because, in order to achieve 800, you would try to solve every question, because of which you might give extra time to certain time consuming questions and miss out on the questions that you could have otherwise solved if you had time and earn points. For your English section, the biggest tip that I have for you is that read a lot. I know I'm repeating it, but it is for a fact. If you start reading more, gradually you'll realize that grammar questions will become intuitive and right answers will start feeling right. You'll gain an idea of where you can find the answer in the text. And mark my words, the two sections that can incredibly boost your score are your grammar section and math section. So try to have a very good grasp of these two sections. Now that you have analyzed your test performance, next time when you take the test, keep in mind everything that you've been implementing. You know what your weaknesses are, you know what questions you face difficulty in. So try to focus on those questions. For repetitive or silly errors, what I would advise you is that write them on sticky notes and paste them on a wall, so that whenever you see the wall, you're reminded of the silly mistakes that you do and you train your mind to avoid them. For example, one mistake that I used to do sometimes in math section was that while doing calculations on paper, I would sometimes make mistake in writing the values given in the question. For example, if the question has 2500, I might write 1500 on paper, and then the following calculation would go wrong and my answer would come wrong. So this is one mistake that I needed to avoid. So what I did is on a sticky note I wrote, keep both the eyes open when you are noting the values in math section. So this was kind of a sarcastic comment on myself only. So whenever I would see the wall, I would be reminded of this very silly mistake that I used to do, and this is how I was able to avoid such silly mistakes in my math section. Because in your math section, as I said, it is very important to control your enthusiasm and to control your excitement. Now, the questions that you're taking more time in, spend more time to clear those concepts in a better way. Also, recognize the question types or the topics that you are taking less time in and the topics or the question types that you're taking more time in, so that on the test day you can skip the time-consuming questions for the end, so that you don't miss the questions that you could have done just because you spent extra time in some time-consuming questions. There's one tool in your digital SAT which can really be very helpful, and this is markup. Marking up your test can significantly increase your accuracy and speed. And this markup tool has one more benefit. Whenever you have time left, you would always want to recheck your responses. So while rechecking, if you have marked up, then it will be much easier for you to recheck and you will be able to recheck more questions. Also, use the annotation tool to mark what the question asks. Does it ask correct or incorrect? Whether it mentions true or not true. This can really help you avoid silly mistakes. Now, how to stay motivated during your SAT preparation journey. One thing you can do is write your goal score on a sticky note and paste it on your wall, so that every day when you will see the score, you'll automatically be motivated to prepare for SAT and to hit that score. Another thing that you can do is put your dream school or dream university or your goal score as your lock screen or home screen wallpaper. This will help you in two ways. Firstly, it will remind you of your goal score. Secondly, whenever you'll be tempted to use Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or play games or watch Netflix, you'll be immediately reminded that you have a goal and your SAT exam is around the corner. Thirdly, tell your mind that you want to score your highest in your first attempt itself, because the more attempts you need to give, the difficult it gets to keep yourself motivated and to go through the same content again and again. And also, you are spending your invaluable time and money. I'm not against giving reattempts to improve your score, but having this mindset will help you take lesser attempts and to score significantly better in your first attempt itself. Another way to keep yourself motivated is to surround yourself with people who are also preparing for SAT. This will help you know newer updates, newer strategies and tips, and it will also create a healthy competition amongst you. For example, if one of your friends scores 1500 above, you will be automatically motivated to put extra efforts in, and it will also make you believe that yes, you can achieve the target too. If you do not have friends or people around you who are preparing for SAT, you can also join WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups where you can find people who are preparing for SAT just like you. What you can do in your last few study sessions, one thing that I used to do is whenever I would solve questions of any topic, and if I would encounter a question that would be quite tricky or different from the usual questions, I would copy and paste it in a document, and that document would become a source for me to revise the trickier sorts of questions of each type during my last study sessions. In your last study sessions, the mini notes that you've prepared will help you a lot. So go through them and also go through the mistake notes that you created. This will remind your mind to avoid the kind of mistakes that you are habitual of committing. What to do a night before your SAT? Relax, eat good food, decide the clothes that you're going to wear, prepare your stationery kit. You want to keep a pencil, an eraser, a sharpener, a scale perhaps. If you're going to use a calculator, keep that. Then you need to have a hard copy of your admit card. That's really very important. Keep passport size photographs just in case it is required. Keep your original Aadhaar card or your passport, whichever you have decided to take. Remind yourself of the repetitive and silly errors that you do not want to commit at any cost. And one thing that you can do is do a practice test a night before your SAT exam if you're a night owl, or on the morning of your testing day if you are a morning bird. This will activate your mind and will train it how it has to work in your actual test. That's all the tips, strategies and advices that I had to share with you guys. I've shared everything that I believe has helped me score 1520, and I hope this video will help you achieve your target score as well. Just stay calm, stay positive and prepare wholeheartedly, and I'm sure you'll be able to ace your SAT. If you have your SAT exam coming up, go break a leg. I'm rooting for you. And if you found this video helpful, please like, share and comment. Subscribe to the channel because I'm going to continue to deliver such quality content to you guys. All I need is your support. That's all for now. We'll catch you soon in my next video. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy, stay motivated, and peace.